Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, D&J Reads. I'm Danielle, and today I'll be bringing you my spooky season TBR. So I know last week I brought you a video where I recommended a bunch of spooky season books, and this week I'm just going to be talking about all the ones that I have on my TBR that I'm very excited for. So first up, I have Kingdom of the Feared by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the third book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I still have not gotten to this one. So I don't want to talk about this book specifically in case you haven't read the first two, but in the first book, we follow Emilia. Her sister has been murdered, so she teams up with Prince Wrath to kind of figure out what happened to her sister. The next book kind of goes along the same things, and then this is the third book in that series. I'm really excited for this one. I saved it for spooky season last year, and then I never got to it, so we're going to try one more year. Hopefully I get to this one. And then next up, I have Foxglove by Adalyn Grace. This is book 2 in her Belladonna series. I read Belladonna 2 years ago and I absolutely loved it. I didn't get around to Foxglove last year, but because Wisteria came out this year and I do have that pre-ordered from Fairy Loot, I'm hoping to get my copy soon. I want to kind of reread this series, pick up Foxglove, and pick up Wisteria this year. Hopefully I can. If you don't know what this series is about, we follow Signa. She is an orphan. Pretty much all her family has died except her. She has been untouched by death. She actually can't die. So this follows her as she goes to family after family, and death keeps coming with her. And in this last one, they're trying to figure out why their family is sick right now, and she teams up with death and things go from there. Really excited for this one. Can't wait to finish out this series. And then next up, I have Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. This is book 2 in her Discovery of Witches series. I read book 1 last year, and I hope to read book 2 this year. I'm terrible at finishing series. You'll notice that about me. So that's kind of why I have a bunch of these open right now. But this follows Diana Bishop. She is a witch that doesn't really use her powers all that much, but she's a scholar as well. So she works in this really big library in Oxford, and she is kind of looking for some manuscripts, and this one manuscript comes to her. She opens it, she reads it, and she puts it back. But she realizes something's starting to happen after she puts that back. All of these different paranormal type creatures are following her around, kind of asking her if she can pull that back out again, and she is getting creeped out. But then in comes Matthew, who is a vampire, and he starts working with her to try and figure out what is going on, why she can be the only one that calls this manuscript that has been hidden for years. And then this second book, The Shadow of Night, we end up in a different era. Don't want to go too much into it, so I'm excited to see that, and I'm hoping I can pick this one up. Next, I really want to read The 13th Tale by Erin A. Craig, and this is a sort of loose retelling of the Brother Grimm fairy tale, Godfather of Death. And this follows Hazel. She is the 13th child, and the 13th child is promised to the gods. She's been waiting her whole life to be taken away, and she eventually is, and she's bestowed with a gift. She is able to tell when somebody is sick, what their ailment is, and how to cure them. Or not how to cure them if they're actually just going to pass and she can't do anything about it. She ends up being taken to the royal court where she sees a prince, and she ends up finding out his fate, and she is going to tempt God by trying to change that with him. So excited for this one. I love all of Erin's books. They're all kind of spooky season reads. She has House of Salt and Sorrows, which is based on a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, which was really good. She has Small Favors, which is also another creepy woods setting. So she is just great for the spooky time. Pick her up if you're looking for a great read. Then I have A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova. This is one of her books in her Married to Magic series. They all can be read on their own, and this one is a darkly reimagined Snow White retelling with a little bit of Beauty and the Beast as well, and vampires. So we follow our female main character who is captured by the vampire lord and brought to his tower. And she comes to realize that vampires are not as bad as they seem. There is an ancient curse, and it is with her help that he needs to try and break that. So we go from there, and I'm very excited for this. I've read the first two in the series. I've liked those, and I can't wait to pick this one up. And then the next one, which is super popular right now on TikTok and just everywhere, is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. And this is a small town grumpy sunshine romance, and I'm very excited for it. In this, we follow Jeannie. She has just been given the Pumpkin Spice Cafe by her aunt. And then we also see Logan, who is kind of a loner and he doesn't want to have to do anything with the gossip, but he finds himself drawn to Jeannie, and what's going to happen from there? Can't wait. I love that it's called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. We also have like the Cinnamon Bun Store or something like that, which is the second book in this series. That also sounds great for the fall. Very excited for these two. And then next up, I have Rise of the Cinder Fae by Whitney Dean. And this just screams fall from the cover. We have the beautiful pumpkin. We have the pumpkin on the sprayed edges. We have the pumpkin on the back, pumpkin everything. So this makes me just want to read this during this time. I bought this without knowing anything about it because I just knew I needed this book. This book embodies everything that I am for fall. So I'm so excited to have this. But it seems to be a fae story, and we follow Alora, who is a fae that lives in a kind of forgotten country area, and these Cinder Fae have come and taken over. So she has to try and make the king or prince of the Cinder Fae fall in love with her so that she can find out why they can't go home and she can save her people. This one sounds really good. I cannot wait to pick it up, and I'm hoping I just love it from the looks of it. Then next up, a new release coming out is going to be The Marriage Hex by Sarah Blue. I'm very excited for this one. This, we follow a witch and a werewolf, and it sounds like when they were younger, they made a pact to get married if they were unmarried at a certain age, because, you know, we all make those pacts with our friends when we're younger. But in this, they end up coming back together and having to make good on that promise. He is the alpha of his pack, and she is part of a coven, and those two do not get along. So this has been a little bit fraught, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from there. I love Sarah's books, and I can't wait to pick this one up. And then this next one, I actually was just scrolling through Instagram this morning and saw, so I added it to my list because it seemed really cute, but I have absolutely no idea what it's about. And this is A Pack for Autumn by Emilia Emerson. And it looks to be a standalone. It's MFMM. It's a Why Choose Small Town Romance. It is part of a Cozyverse shared universe, so that's good. So it's definitely a cozy story. So Starlight Grove needs a new lighthouse keeper, and Olive needs a fresh start, preferably one with as much solitude as possible. Totally feel her there. So her new job, an isolated ocean cottage, is perfect, except for the eccentric, meddling town people and the cat who has adopted her. So there's a cat in this one, so that's always fun for the autumn as well. And when the town wins a grant for lighthouse restoration, Olive is forced to let the contractors into her space. They are a company of 3 hot guys, I guess. So Easton is her golden retriever stalker. Lars is a steady protective Viking, and Finn is hiding a pain that matches her own. Suddenly, these guys are everywhere, and they're completely unfazed by Olive's prickly personality as they try to care for her, protect her, and court her. But everyone in this relationship is holding on to secrets, and it might not just be the lighthouse that needs restoration. This sounds really fun. I can't wait to pick this one up. Next up, I have Only One Coffin by A.J. Truman. This one follows a 300-year-old vampire who's lost his lover and just wants to go to a hotel for a little bit of rest and relaxation, but it seems like the hotel has double booked him with a newly bitten vampire who's kind of a surfer dude. And they end up having to share this coffin. This MM romance sounds really cute, and I can't wait to see how their relationship evolves. Next up is Hollow by Karina Halle. I saw this one last year. I had it on my TBR, but I did not get to it. I actually didn't read the synopsis back then either. I just knew it was like a Sleepy Hollow retelling. So it seems like Welcome to Sleepy Hollow, You May Never Leave. Kat Van Tassel's life was predestined from childhood. She was supposed to marry her best friend, Brom Bones, but Brom mysteriously vanishes, and now she's enrolled at the school there, and she kind of gets in with her teacher, Ichabod Crane, and they delve into some dark magic. So Brom returns and he is a little bit changed. He's suffering from amnesia and a dark transformation. And then they must confront some gruesome murders that are attributed to a vengeful spirit, which is the Headless Horseman, while navigating their own tangled relationships. This is a MF and MM romance, so I'm told. And I'm very excited for this one. And I do believe it is a duology, so there is another part of this if you like it and want to continue. And then I want to read Bewitching the Boss by Jessa Kane. Jessa Kane does write a bunch of like smutty books, so I'm thinking that this one is going to be the same. And I guess she's been pining over her boss for a couple years, and she's hired by him to do their Halloween party. So they're going to get closer. Her boss has sworn off happiness or pleasure, but his quiet suffering only draws her closer, turning up the dial on her obsession. And she never expected his obsession to rival her own and for him to command her in ways she never realized she needed. Can't wait for that one. Sounds really good. And then next up, I have Slashed by Thalia Sanchez. This one is about a haunted house, which the title of the haunted house is Slashed. So we have our main character who goes in. She loves being scared. She always thought she would be like the best final girl. And she goes in and she ends up being chased around by this murderous guy in a mask. And she wonders if it's actually real because it seems to be getting scarier and scarier. So in her defense, she actually ends up trying to seduce him so that she can get out alive. Definitely going to be a smutty read, and I can't wait to pick it up. Then next up, I have No Way Out by Santana Knox. And this one follows a teacher, a student, and a scarecrow, and they're all in this maze that has no way out. This is supposed to be a novella and is very spicy, so just know that and can't wait to pick it up as well. Then lastly, I have Burn for Jack by Aiden Pierce. This is a plot light Halloween paranormal romance novella that does have a ton of dark themes, including bondage, violence, gore, dubious consent, bullying, and murder. We follow Jack, who is our pumpkin-headed, I don't want to say hero because he's not really the hero of the book, but the pumpkin-headed main character. And he has been cursed to stay on the edge of this pumpkin patch until his lover comes back. We have her main character who is a relative of his lover that has passed. So things go from there. And this one sounds really good, really spicy, and I am definitely going to be picking it up this season. But that was it for all of the spooky and atmospheric reads that I have on my spooky season TBR. I am so excited to get to them. If you have one you think I should read first, please let me know in the comments below. If you don't have anything to say but still want to leave a comment to let me know you were here, leave me a skull emoji and I will see you next time. Bye!